We're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to explain page number 2 from Spider-Man. I just moved in to my new dorm or my new room, my new house, at one of the dorms at my college. A new background, a new background for you. Um, okay, let's get started. Alright, so the first vocab word for today is to be crazy. So usually with crazy, crazy means like insane or um, like mentally unstable or crazy. You do really rash things. You are insane. However, you can also use the word crazy to describe someone who's wild and fun. Um, so, one example I have is this sentence. It says, his friends called him crazy after he jumped off a bridge. Uh, in the video, we have this man. He's on a bridge here, and he does some sort of flip to jump jump into the water. Um, that is very impressive, scary for him to do. However, it's also wild and fun or exciting. So then you can call him crazy. That was crazy, man. Um, so yeah, back to the sentence. As his friends called him crazy, so his friends called this guy crazy after he jumped off a bridge. So two meanings for crazy. The next word we have is to skip. To skip means to not go to something or do something. Usually, it is when you have to go to this place. So, examples are you have to go to work, you have to go to school, you have to or should brush your teeth, you um, have to take a shower, usually a shower to clean. Um, but if you decide to not go to it, to not do it, do the activity, then you skip it. You skip it. So, an example here we have James skipped class because he was tired. So, he is maybe a college student and he has a class about chemistry. However, he woke up and he was too tired to get out of bed, to leave bed, to get up. So instead, he just stayed in bed and he kept sleeping, instead of getting up and going to class. So because he did not go to class, you can say he skipped class. To skip, to skip. Another example, if you are really tired at night, um, you might skip, you might not brush your teeth before bed. Instead, you don't brush your teeth, you just fall asleep. So you skip brushing your teeth. To skip, to skip. Okay, I'll pull it up bigger for you. To skip. Now it is time to read page number 2. Okay, so in our image, or actually, let's start with a refresher. So in the previous page, or in the last page, there was a man reading. He was reading a book, and he called something that was said in the book. So sodium carbonide, something that was said in the book. Odd and bold. And then while he was reading, a fry with ketchup on it flew past him, and then he looked to the direction of the fries. All right, so now he is looking at where the fries came from, and we have two other guys, and they are giving some sort of like fist bump or handshake in celebration because they're happy of something. Maybe they're the ones that threw the fries. So he says, "Give it to me 2 times." Ha ha ha, like laughing. And then he says, "You crazy." Um, so he says, "Give it to me 2 times." Give it to me. He's maybe, with it, he's maybe referring to a fist bump or handshake that they are doing to each other. So he wants two handshakes. Two handshakes. Okay. So you can just say, "Give it to me 2 times." Give it to me 2 times. If a more common example, if you give fist bumps, you might say, "Give it to me 2 times." And then you give 2 fist bumps or high fives. "Give it to me 2 times." 2 high fives. And then he calls him crazy. "You crazy." Um, and so back from our vocabulary word, to be crazy means to be wild and fun. So he is not calling his friend insane, crazy. Um, he's saying, "You're wild and fun. That was awesome what you just did." So he most likely threw the fries and he thinks that it was cool that his friend did that. Over here, we have a conversation between two girls, two females. So this girl says, "Oh my God, I totally forgot to tell you. I'm huge in the doghouse at home." And she says, "What? Why?" So, "Oh my God, like, this is terrible news. I have to tell you. Oh my God." Says, I completely, 100% forgot." So she did not remember. These two have maybe been talking for 1 hour or 2 hours, and throughout that whole time, she did not mention this information because she forgot. She forgot to talk about it. She forgot to tell her. But now she remembers. So she's going to tell her friend. So I'm huge in the doghouse at home. This is an idiom, a very old idiom that you don't hear nowadays. Um, I think it means to be in trouble. You can look it up. Yeah. So she's basically in really big trouble. Really big trouble. That's what "in the doghouse" means. So she asks, "What? Why? What's the reason? What did you do?" All right. The next panel. Okay. These panels are connected or overlapping because the dialogue is on multiple panels, multiple images. Okay. So here we have that original guy that we saw on the first page, and he is still looking up, no longer reading. And this next page, he's back to reading. He's reading again. Um, and they are still having their conversation. So this girl says, I totally took off for senior skip day. Uh, so I'm totally grounded. And then her friend replies, why? Everybody skipped for senior skip day. Then she says, yeah, they called in sick. I just didn't show up. And then she says, you didn't call in? I didn't call in. Well, duh. So totally, again, that means completely, 100%. I mean what I'm saying. So she took off um, for senior skip day, as in she did not go to school. She skipped school that day. She took off. We don't say took off very often in America, at least. You can just say skipped or I didn't go instead. And so she says, I'm totally grounded. Grounded is when you are punished for something you did. Usually it's when you do something bad, or it's usually when you are a kid, when you're young, and then you do something that your parents do not want you to do, something that is bad, and then you will be grounded. You will be punished. An example could be not being able to use your phone, maybe not being able to hang out with friends, to go out with friends, or maybe being stuck or having to stay in your room. Those are examples of being grounded. So then her friend responded, why? Everybody skipped for senior skip day. So why are you in trouble if everybody else did it? If all of the other seniors, all of the other students did not go to school either. They skipped school too. Senior skip day, that is, it's like a holiday sort of for high school students in the United States. It is for seniors, which is 12th grade, or the last grade before you graduate high school. And so there's a skip day where all of the seniors don't go to school um, to celebrate, sort of. And so this recently happened and they skipped. Okay. And so she responds with, yeah, they called in sick. I just didn't show up. So this is her reasoning for why she is gonna get in trouble, why she is grounded and everybody else is fine. Because the other students, the other seniors, they called the school and said, I'm sick with a cold. I can't come to school. So sick. Um, and so then there is an excuse. There is a reason for why they didn't go to school. However, she just didn't show up. She did not say anything. She did not call in and say that she was sick. She just did not appear at school. She just did not go to school. She skipped. She simply skipped. And so her friend says, you didn't call in? Because she realizes that's bad. That is bad. You have to call in if you're not going to school. And yeah, she says, I didn't call in. She says, well, duh. I know why you're in trouble then. She says, I know. It sucks. Then this next image, we get a closer image of the guy. We can see his glasses. We can see his eyes, or one eye. We can see his eye, his eyebrow, and his hair. Okay. So this is a new conversation between two different girls. Okay. And so she says, so I said, What did he say? He said his cell phone was broken. What a dog, right? Uh-huh. I am confused with this sentence or this paragraph. Um, so this is like gossiping, talking about drama here, saying he said, she said, he said. They heard this information from someone else, and now she's gossiping about it, or she's talking about it. So yeah, what did he say? He said his cell phone was broken. So his cell phone where you call or text is not working anymore. You can't call, you can't text, it won't work at all. It won't work. Um, so maybe he said that as an excuse, like that's why I did not pick up the phone because my phone is broken. Maybe. It says, what a dog, right? We, in the current day, we do not use the term dog very often, except for positively. We'll say he's a dog, like he's really cool or passionate about what he does. However, this use of dog is not common anymore. We don't say dog usually. Um, she might be saying, um, like, he's a player, he's a liar, um, he's not a cool, not a good person. That might be what she means by dog. And then she wants affirmation, or are you hearing what I'm saying? Is what she says with right, right? She's checking in to make sure her friend hears what she is saying, and she just says, uh-huh, while she's reading, uh-huh. So she's not fully paying attention, like half paying attention. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, okay. And here, a guy in the back, he's looking at them. So he's maybe eavesdropping, he's listening to their conversation. Okay, the next image, this girl is still talking and she says, so I told her to tell him, it's still complicated, still complicated. Um, so her friend came to her to ask for advice. So her friend gave her the information, told her the information, and then she gave the advice, um, or told her that she could tell the guy, and then we don't hear anything else. We don't know the rest of what she said. This girl over here, she stops reading and then she looks maybe behind her, and she's smiling, or she has a grin on her face. A grin, a grin. A smile is when your mouth's open. A grin is like this. It's like mischievous, like something is up. Um, and then she says, "Drop dead, right?" So we don't know what she told her friend, but the end of the statement, she's like, "Drop dead, right?" Like it was crazy what I said, right? Um, that's what she's implying with that. But again, we don't use drop dead, right? Anymore. We don't. Not in 2026, or it is not common at least. Okay, so that is the last image for today. I do have a question. So my question is, if you could skip one activity in your daily routine, which activity would it be? I want you to type your answer in the comments down below. Um, Let me think for my answer or my response. Okay, so if I could skip one activity from my daily routine, I would skip brushing my teeth. Brushing my teeth. Um, I, oh, I do not have fun brushing my teeth. It is a chore. It's just something I have to do. If my teeth could always be clean without me brushing, I would be very happy. So I choose to skip brushing my teeth. Alright, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.